Hello.
Got it. Hello. Hello, everyone. We are 6 out of 11 on the meeting. Get started. Um, we'll get started. We have quorum. Hey everyone. Welcome to Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust Technical Advisory Council meeting on 5th February 2026. Before we get started, as usual, we have a couple of reminders for everyone on the call. All Linux Foundation meetings, we follow antitrust policies. It is a notice that we do have competitors on the call, and like we should all be aware of the things that are prohibited in these meetings, and then all are welcome in these meetings. Oh, I see a note from Rai. It says we need to start the recording. I don't see a start recording option, but I do see it is already recording. So I believe it is good.
I thought it was recording. Let me
Okay.
make sure. Yeah, I think it's recording.
Could you make me a co-host?
Yes.
Thanks.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Sorry. Um,
Oh, you're not the host. You never claimed host. Okay, you must be
oh,
recording. So carry
yes,
on.
I heard the recording announcement in the beginning of the call when I joined. That's why I didn't claim the host. But yeah, I can make sure. Go ahead, Aaron. Continue.
No worries. Yeah, these things do happen. So, we welcome everyone. We welcome everybody's participation. All are welcome in our meetings, and we request each participant on the call to respect others. And if you have something to say, please do raise your hand so that we get time slots to speak. Continuing further, let's move on to the announcement section for today. We do have developer newsletter that is sent weekly to a large developer community who have signed up. And this is your opportunity as a project team to talk about your project, to request for comments on your proposals, to even get them involved or excite them on something new that you have within your project. Please do make use of this opportunity, or even if you want to organize a session, workshop, or even talk about some of the new features that your project is working on. This is an excellent opportunity for you to make use of. All you have to do is leave a comment on one of the wiki pages, and these wiki pages are created by dates, so you can leave a note there. It would be picked up in the newsletter. And the next announcement we have is for the workshop that we have from one of our projects. We do have credible workshop on Wednesday, February the 18th, and the timing would be at 8 a.m. Pacific. And this works best for most of us in US and European time zones, and also sometime late in the Indian time zone. And I did want to quickly or briefly talk about the tax responsibilities as a thing, as a reminder. So we do have projects submitting their reports, and at least until late yesterday, I did not find much of the participation. And this is one of the responsibilities as a TAC for us to know what's happening on the project. We have to look for signals um, and the health metrics and anything that comes out of project reports. Sometimes the project teams may be requesting for assistance from us. So I do request TAC members to go through project reports that are submitted on timely fashion. And you can always do that asynchronously through the pull request reviews, or leave a note, or even have Discord conversations. And we do have some few projects which are yet to submit their annual reports. We will have to follow up with them. Um, I'll get in touch with Henrik and get it um, sorted. Um, but yeah, that's a quick refresher. If you have any questions, please do ask. So with that, let's move to the quarterly report section. So we did receive the Trust or IP quarterly report and the credible reports, which were pending from Q4 of last year. And so far, I haven't seen much of a concern. And thanks, Daniela, for addressing all the open questions from TYP team. And they will be taken care of by the staff. And in the last meeting, we did hear comments from Diane about what Trust or IP can improve in their reports. And we will share, that feedback has been shared to the community or the team, both on the pull request and on Discord channels. We will ensure like such information is captured in their upcoming reports. So far, haven't seen a major concern on the critical project as such. I did see a question raised, which was all about the adoption metrics for credible project, and we'll look forward to that answer from the credible team. Before we continue, are there any questions or concerns?
This is Diane. Do we have enough reviewers on the trust over IP report to process it today? You went by that pretty quickly, so I didn't check. Is there any objection to, or do we need more people to click on it and review it?
We not have enough approvals, but I do request
Okay.
all members to have a look at the report.
Okay. And even I haven't clicked on it, so thank you. So if people could do that, that would be great.
Okay. So with that, let's move to the next section of our agenda, unless somebody else have any other questions on submitted reports already. Matthew?
Hey, thanks, Arun. So yeah, this is kind of about, I guess, partly about the next section. I think I missed one of the previous calls, so apologies for that. But am I right in saying that there's been a distribution of the spreadsheet for the annual reviews go round as we're going on to the topic of annual reports? I couldn't find it anywhere if that has gone round.
Oh, okay. I can reshare that on Discord in a while.
Thank you
Let
very
me get
much.
that on
Cheers.
here on chat as well. No worries. Yeah. So that would be
Sorry, feel free not to do it now. Yeah, I can keep an eye offline. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we can also leave a note in TAC members, the primary and the secondary reviewers on pull request as the reports come in. Thanks for that, Matthew. So we'll move to the next section, which was I wanted to talk about OT reports, but while we wait for them, I did see at least Cacti and Indie report being submitted. Like by the time this meeting occurred. Thanks to those projects, and I request TAC members who are assigned as primary and secondary reviewers for these projects to take a look at those reports if you are not already. And we will send reminders to other projects. I did receive note from Iowa as well on the Fabric report that it will be available sometime later this week. I do understand last week most of the maintainers were at the maintainers days event and the member summit event. Any questions or other things that we should call out for before we move on? And just a quick reminder for reviewers, we do have an objective way to review project reports. And we ideally want that kind of things to happen for every quarter, not just on the annual report side, but we do request to look into those objective way of evaluating the project reports and getting a comprehensive summary to rest of the TAC members so that we get the right status for the project. With that, let's move to the next part. So I did see, I did want to bring up this part about the new labs that we have from Google. This, if I'm pronouncing it right, it's Braille. The proposal itself currently is in a merge state. I saw Alvaro merged it some time ago, but I do request TAC members to take a look at it. David, I see your hand raised.
I had pinged, so thank you, Marcus, for reviewing and approving that. And I had pinged Alvaro and Needy to see if they were still actively involved as stewards And Alvaro did respond to my ping and approved it, but I did hear back from Needy that she is stepping down. So just a flag that we now have just two active stewards. I mean, maybe this is a separate discussion. I did just want to mention that though, that I did reach out to both of them because I hadn't seen them review it since this came in last week. I wanted to make sure they had a chance to look at it and just passing along that Needy did say she was stepping down. So.
Thanks, David. Um, let us bring that up again. I I did want to bring up also to the TAC that very recently we also had a proposal where TAC members could also go and approve for the lab proposals. And I think that also opens up a slot within lab stewards. If you have anyone that you recommend, would be great to participate as a lab steward. Matthew?
Yeah, hi there. So there's obviously been a bit of chat about Paladin as one of the newer incubating projects. And we at some point we would like to, I think, do a Paladin lab. I think maybe aiming for a couple of months from now, maybe a month or two out from now. So yeah, Paladin is one area that I think it would be good if we tried to get a lab out for that to get a bit more reach to a wider audience.
Thank you. Are you kind of suggesting you need a separate GitHub org space, which has all the lab projects for Paladin project?
Sorry, can you just repeat that question?
Or
Sorry, I
are
missed that.
right. I'm trying to understand the ask so that we have it documented or taken
Yeah,
up covered.
it was really so not so much of an ask of anyone right now, but more just for awareness that I think Paladin would like to have a lab at some point. I don't know how much structure we need to put around that. I spoke to David Boswell on email as we were going through Paladin becoming an incubating project. So I guess any pointers anyone has to any of the kind of the structure or templates around how labs kind of put together would be appreciated, but no other ask other than that for now.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to talk with you more about that. And in general, a lot of projects do have labs. In particular, if you go into the labs repos, you can see there's a lot of fabric related labs in particular. So they've really leveraged kind of keeping the project itself, focused on this core and then the labs, things that, are, beyond the core. So that could be maybe a good model to look at if you're looking at how to leverage the lab space. But yeah, if you go into the labs, you'll see a number of projects do have labs that are related to that project.
Great, awesome. Thanks, David. Yeah, and I'll have a look at that. Is it Briolet? Am I pronouncing that right? I'll have a look at their
I
proposal as
think
well at the
that's how
same
you pronounced it. Yeah.
time. Cool, thanks.
Thank you, Matthew. Thanks, David. So with that, let's move to the next agenda item. So we will bring up discussion items for the day, and we're all excited. And this was one of the most spoken topic also during Maintainer Days event. I'll give the stage to Main for announcing the mentorship program. I believe the dates have already begun 3 days ago, but I'll let Min talk more about the program itself.
Yeah, thanks, Arun. Hi, my name is Min. I think I met most of you, but for those of you who I haven't met, I'm Min. I am a program manager at the Linux Foundation. I help run our ELF Decentralized Trust mentorship program. This is, I believe, the 10th year that we're running the mentorship program. Over the years, a lot of our mentees have become mentors or really active. Some have become maybe maintainers, and many of them have, continuously being involved, either getting jobs that are, companies in the space or actively still contributing in our community. So this has been a very valuable program. And I know a couple of you here on TAC have been mentors before. I see Marcus, I know Arun, you were mentors before. But I just want to give a quick overview for those of you who are not familiar with our mentorship program. Arun, can I share my screen? I just have a few slides I'm happy to kind of walk through. Great.
Go ahead. I stopped sharing.
Okay. Yeah. Just quickly, why do we keep investing, right, in our mentorship over the years? So as you can see, it really drives Project House because we're bringing new people to help address, either adding new features or any, gaps in our development or even doing research, right? Because we do attract a lot of people from the academia into our mentorship program. So this is really a great way to drive Project House, and it's a great way to facilitate knowledge transfer because the mentors are, maintainers or active contributors in our community, pairing them up with people who are looking to get their foot into the open source community, especially our own community. It kind of helps facilitate that knowledge transfer because the mentors can model best practices, teach them how to use our tooling, besides, the how to contribute to the projects. And obviously, we get a lot of people asking, I'm interested in getting involved, but where do I start? Our mentorship really provides that clearer, more tangible path for them to get involved because each mentorship project will have defined outcome and learning objectives. And at the end of the mentorship, they actually have mentees have accomplished something. So, it's a more structured way to onboard new contributors. And I was reading CNCF's blog post. They really emphasize this contributor flywheel, and I totally agree with that. It really creates that sort of virtuous cycle. I've seen a lot of mentees who then become mentors or, really qualified people, become maintainers, and then they get jobs at our member companies or companies. So really just, that flywheel or virtuous cycle, I think it's great for our community overall. So that's some of the main reasons why we invest in mentorship year after year. And for mentees, right, we tell them, why these are some of the key benefits they will get. They can work anywhere in the world. They get hands-on experience contributing to real projects that are making an impact in the world. And they're guided by people like you, right? Open source professionals. They get to learn about open source infrastructure, tools, and best practices. They get regular feedback. They get introduced to the wider community. They're building a public portfolio of the work. I've definitely heard from mentees, all the work, they're doing in the public, they can just, include a link to their GitHub, pull requests or contributions, and people can look, check the quality of their work. So it's really that building that public portfolio is definitely a big plus if they want to continue their professional career in the field. And they get the recognition. We give our mentees a lot of opportunities to, talk about their experience. Last year we provided travel funding for a number of mentees to travel to a conference to, continue their, interactions and pursuing a career and learning from other professionals. And also this year we're going back to stipends, so they get, both recognition and some sort of monetary incentives as well. And in terms of program timeline, we already kicked off. I'm going to email, maybe put some on the Discord channel as well, just to announce that we have already started the calling for mentors and mentorship project proposal process. Usually it's starting from early February through mid-March. It's a pretty long, you can see, 6 weeks just to give people, time to think about. We will give the TAC. That's one of the reasons I'm here. I would like to ask a few volunteers from the TAC to review the project proposal that we receive. And then there's like a mentee application period. And then we review all the applications. We onboard the mentees the first 2 weeks of June. And the mentee and mentors work together essentially from June through November. So, we expect them to contribute, I don't know, 12 to 15 hours for about 6 months. So very kind of part-time basis. And the 2026 year program dates, it's already on our documentation website. And I think I get this question often. Okay. What's the lift? Why should I mentor? What are some of the, where can we, find mentorship needs or project proposals? I put some of the bullet points here. I've heard often people, especially, current maintainers or developers, somebody mentor them so they feel, that they want to give back, right? Share that sort of give back to the community, share their open source passion and expertise. They want to onboard teach new contributors. They can get help, right, with code development, documentation, research, and as I mentioned, strengthen the project health by training the next generation of new talent. And the ways to do a project proposal, think about what are the gaps you have in your project, either features, development, documentation, research. Are there any backlogs that you would like some help with? And maybe some problems that you think maybe new perspectives and new contributors might bring some innovative approaches to address. And we want obviously invite the maintainers, active contributors to send the project proposal. We recommend, instead of one mentor, we recommend multiple mentors so we can share the mentoring workload. We would prefer a project proposal that has a clear scope and well-articulated outcomes. And we want to make sure, when you do the project proposal, I'll have a link to the proposal guidelines. The outcomes should contribute to the goals of our LFDT projects or labs. And of course, the proposals are subject to TAC review. We just want to make sure these proposals are relevant and advancing the goals of our projects and labs. And then in terms of lift, I often hear people asking, so how many hours do I need to spend mentoring the mentees? So this is kind of a ongoing process, right? For now, think about, does your project have some of these needs that can be addressed by a mentee or a couple mentees and through a mentorship project proposal? Once the mentee apply, you will be asked to evaluate the mentee application and select the ones that you want to work with. And then early June, there'll be an onboarding and ramp-up process. And obviously, we expect mentors to provide ongoing guidance and feedback to the mentees. And of course, I'm sure you do that every day, but especially when you're paired up with a mentee, you're essentially modeling that open source best practices to new developers, new contributors. So that's definitely an expectation. And also when opportunity arises, we would ask you to introduce the mentees to the broader community. So those are kind of that's the lift. In terms of number of hours, it's hard to say, but those are kind of the main responsibilities of a mentor. I don't have to talk about this, but once we open the mentee applications, they'll be on LFX. You will probably get some mentees contacting you. All the detailed information is on our website as well. And then some resources, if you're interested in what previous mentees have done, we've done a series blog post highlighting previous mentees' work. And of course, I have a documentation website. The link is here. And of course, LFDT were part of the Linux Foundation mentorship initiative. So like, for example, CNCF or Open Mainframe, many projects at the Linux Foundation also host their own mentorship programs. So there's the link to the Linux Foundation mentorship as well. And if you have any questions, here's the email. You can contact me. But let me just show you the mentorship documentation website. So this is kind of, essentially what I just talked about. These are the dates and the funding for this year. And this year, besides paying the mentees who are making good progress, a stipend, they get a midterm stipend and also final stipend. We also added another funding element, which is we want to set aside, we're going to set aside a limited travel fund budget to award to exceptional mentors and mentees who have the financial need to travel to an in-person event where they're presenting about their mentorship projects. So that's another incentive for both mentors and mentees. Obviously, the stipend only gets paid to the mentees. If you're interested in proposing a project, mentorship project, please do read the submission guidelines. All of this is on the public documentation website. We make it very transparent. If you're proposing, you're essentially going to be the mentor. I'm assuming you're going to be very knowledgeable about this project. Needs to be, have clear objective and outcomes. And also the project should be contributing to advancing one of the current LDT projects or labs. And in terms of selection process and criteria, it kind of corresponds to the submission guidelines. We're going to have the TAC form or trust task force to help us review and evaluate the proposals. And again, just want to emphasize, the proposal should have direct connection or relevance to the goals of an existing LFDT project or lab, and have the potential to impact the diverse representations of projects and mentors. And also, we do have this little caveat: multiple projects can be accepted to projects that complete the annual review process. We do reserve the right to limit the number of mentorship projects per project to allow for including a wide range of projects and labs in the program. So please take a look at the submission guidelines and criteria. Any questions before I ask if anybody would like to serve on the TAC mentorship task force to help us review? The main responsibility is really to help us evaluate and review the mentorship proposals, because we often get more proposals than we have the budget for, or even, I think this year we could certainly found 15 mentorships. If we get 20, we need to figure out, out of the 20, we can only select 15. So are these projects advancing our current projects and labs? Or even if we just get 10, even we can fund 15, but even the 10, we want to make sure, right, they are related and benefit our projects and labs. Kevin, you have a question?
Yeah, this is great, by the way.
Thank you.
There was some people brought up at the maintainer days that we had last week that they had previously made proposals and they gotten rejected without much feedback. So they were frustrated by that because they just gave up on making proposals. So I think that whoever volunteers to do this needs to be conscious that we need to give good feedback back to the rejected proposals.
Yeah, that's very good feedback. Thank you very much. Yeah, as in the past, I probably only mentioned thank you for submitting, and yours is not accepted. So we do have this what's called, so if people are interested in submitting a project proposal, they just click on this new issue template. And we do, especially the TAC task force, we do recommend, if you have questions or you need clarification, you're welcome to, directly raise that on the issue as well. So when we do reject a project, I can certainly look at some of the comments back and forth. And also I can certainly ask the task force members, what is the main reason for not accepting? We can certainly give that, share that transparently to people who submitted the proposal. Thank you for that feedback.
Marcus?
Yes, Marcus.
Hey man, I think this is a great thing. I really like the mentorship program. I wanted to ask, I mean, before you ask the TAC members to volunteer to help doing the review, could you maybe give a little bit more of detail how the reviewing is done? I think last time we had this Excel sheet with scoring numbers. I mean, I did this, but I mean, could you briefly brief the others?
Yes, yeah, if you have any feedback about improving that process, definitely let me know. But the process is once I get, like last year, I think we had more than 20 submissions. I put them in a Google Sheet. I put one of the column is, which project or lab is this proposal related to, and I put a link to the GitHub issue so that people can look up the details. And then, yeah, essentially it's a score 1 to 5, 5 being very valuable, 1 obviously the lowest rating, and then I just tally them up and accept the ones that that we have the funding for. Although this year, I think for TAC, right, you're really helping us evaluate kind of the quality and the relevance. I think our staff is going to take a little bit of more proactive role there, determining especially if it's a project, for example, who has utilized our mentorship maybe a number of times for the same thing. Maybe this year we have to think about, right, if we want to award the mentorship to that same project or mentor again, because we kind of want to diversify the participants, right? So that's one reason. And also, if I recall, sometimes we cancel mentorship, not necessarily. A lot of times it is mentees perhaps are not making good progress, but I've definitely run across situations where a mentor all of a sudden decided they don't want to, they're no longer available, or mentees have reached out to me, they couldn't reach the mentor. So there's, if I've seen a mentor maybe in the past, if they apply, send the proposal again, I have to think twice, like, same mentor last year, they withdrew that would be another flag or quite something out, for the staff to think about, because we have that kind of context, but maybe the TAC member task force do not necessarily do. So for the TAC task force, really, we're asking you to evaluate kind of the technical merits, whether this project is high quality, it's really related to advancing the goals of our projects and labs. In terms of really, obviously, your scoring is going to be one of the biggest factors for us to decide who we award, which projects we accept. But there'll be a couple other factors that we will consider as well. Does that make sense, Marcus?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you have participated in the past, so thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm still
Yes.
thinking about the comment from Henrik, no, sorry, from Kevin,
Oh,
how open this feedback should be in terms of, I mean, the decision-making progress. Because, I mean, I believe in the past it could also just happen that, okay, there were just not enough spots, even though the tech had decided, okay, many projects are great, but then due to the limited spots, well, only the first 10 or the best 10 had to be taken, right?
mhm.
But I think, I mean, if you then go back to that project and say, well, your proposal was great, but I mean, there were 10 other projects which were slightly better. I mean, how can you explain this? It gets very difficult, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, that is why I never really, in the past, I just say, I just tell people you've been accepted and here are the next steps. And the ones who we didn't accept, I didn't specify the reason, just to minimize sort of that negative response. I can think about that. But if you have any suggestions, please do let us know. Yeah, we can, as staff, we can talk about that as well. Yes,
Thank you,
Ram.
Marcus.
Hey, man, this is Rama. So,
Yes,
sorry, to
Rama.
answer Marcus's question in a slightly jokey way, Marcus, you and I have submitted papers to conferences, and oftentimes we get a response saying there are many excellent submissions and we have only so much room to accept good papers, So it's a kind of a canned answer we can give.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if there are any, I think if the proposal has any actual shortcomings, it'd be useful to just jot them down in points and give them back to the proposers. I think that's something we can do. Min, my question to you was, uh, do does every reviewer review all the proposals, or do you distribute the proposals among different reviewers?
I do recall in the past if the task member also is a mentor for one of the proposals, they usually they rescind from scoring that mentorship. And I think it worked just fine.
Okay, but every member of the review task force is supposed to review all the proposals. Is that the case?
Right.
Okay.
Unless, right, like for example, if you propose the mentorship and you will probably just not score
Sure.
your own. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yep.
I can volunteer.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Marcus, you have another question?
Well, I just wanted to say something what Rama said. So I even did not review any proposals where any other IBMer was a mentor. I mean, to just get out this interest of conflict. So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I would also volunteer to do another round of review.
Okay. So I hear Marcus and Rama. I think, yeah, if I can get like 3 or 4 people. Kevin, are you volunteering or you have a question?
I am volunteering. I would like to
Oh,
volunteer.
great. So I have 3. Yeah, that's should be sufficient. And usually I would, at least in the past, I would also, like if we have like just ties, like I would ask the TAC chair sometimes to, when you have like a small number of people on the task force, and then inevitably some mentorship projects receive the same, when I average it out, it's the same score. And I remember asking Tracy to break the tie. But of course, staff will also weigh in as well, as I mentioned. Does that make sense, Arun? So that I may tag you as well.
Of course, man. Yeah, you can by default put me in as a reviewer.
Okay.
I
Okay.
did to
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll just add you as a reviewer. Thank you so much. All right. So I have Arun, I have Marcus, Rama, and Kevin. Thank you so much. And also, please let your project communities know about this opportunity. It's really a good program. Sometimes, it just takes time for the benefits of these programs to really, obviously there's the immediate contribution from the mentees. And then, if you look across, and then you realize, oh yeah, there are really a number of people in our community who are still really actively contributing, and there are started out as mentees several years back. So, I think the mentees definitely feel very grateful, and the mentors get some, you get to teach somebody, share your, many of you really love teaching and guiding, and you get some stuff done for your projects, and yeah, I think it's really a win-win for everybody involved. So thank you very much. And I feel so appreciative, grateful to be running the program year after year too. So
I mean, Marcus has his hand raised, but I also saw a chat message from Kanchan that she wants to sign up.
oh, great. Awesome. I will add you. All right, that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Oh, Marcus has a question, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, I just wanted quickly to bring the discussion up from the chat here. So I
Mhm.
would love to have even more reviewers other than, I mean, right now we have 4 or 5. As Rama
5?
said, depending on the load, I mean, if we get like 40, if we get 20 or 40 proposals, and well, I mean, it takes some time to review those. And I think if we have a few more reviewers, that would be even great, so that we could divide it in a way, as Rama suggested, that every proposal just gets reviewed by 3 different reviewers instead of every reviewer reviewing 20 or 40, 30 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can get even more people here interested in reviewing those proposals and then distribute the load even better. But 5 is already great.
5 is great. Yes. I'm already very, happy with the interest here. So, if you want to, think about it and you feel you have the bandwidth and would like to volunteer, just send me an email. Happy to add you to the task force as well. And, and I've been thinking, right, like the task force, not only just sort of the review the proposal, I'm thinking about there are other things I would love to have the task force to kind of advise me on, just to, run the program better from your perspective. I've been doing this for a number of years. I would love to hear some new perspectives as well. So that could be another thing we can brainstorm to get more TAC members working on the task force to get involved as well. Cool. Well, thanks again for this opportunity to speak to you all. And let your project communities know and reach out to me anytime if you have questions.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you all for signing up. Moving on to the next part of our discussion, I did want to give space for what happened in last week's event and to speak about that. I know, like, I personally missed the Maintainer Days event, but I did hear really good positive feedback from all those who attended. At least like in my conversations with Marcus, you all, and some of you, I know like you called out or highlighted few of those. I wanted to give this as a space for you to talk about the event, what went well, what you think we achieved as a summary to rest of the community.
Is this a
Marcus?
question directly to me? Oh my God.
I personally enjoy talking to you, and then yes, Marcus, like you can get started. This is question to not like question to everyone.
Right. Okay.
I
Sure.
guess you should make me feel like why did I miss the event?
Yeah, I mean, you totally missed the event. So let me, quickly say a few things about it. So I really liked basically meeting the people. I often see only the names here in the chat in person at this great location in NYC. I think we really had a really good time. It was really beautiful. What I didn't like so much was that there was actually not, I mean, we had 2 days. However, due to the winter storm, we were basically missing half a day. And as one of the results of that was that we were a little bit short of time for additional hands-on session. Coming back to a good thing, I mean, we had really good mix of knowledge sharing and networking and I mean brainstorming, but still, I believe for me personally, there are a little bit more hands-on session where people really sit together on a laptop and hack something. That was kind of missing for me a little bit. And well, yeah, unfortunately, we were also missing many maintainers, I believe. Even though we had quite some people there, I believe we should have more people at those events. But again, I understand the situation due to the bad weather situation and also sometimes difficulties getting the travel approved. What else? Arun, do you remember what I was saying to you back then?
So sure. I, I think one of the common things that I heard across were people liked that we brought up topics about mentorship program, and then there was in general communication around how we can improve the contributor space. For instance, the session on good first issues, that was one of the other highlights that I heard as a common thing across when I spoke with multiple maintainers. The other thing that I heard was the topic was privacy, and in general, the trust as a theme was brought up throughout the sessions, and project teams have a keen interest on that front. So that was other highlight that I heard personally. Um, Let me see if I'm missing something. David, do you have any highlights that you would like to bring up?
Yeah, sure. First off, thank you. As Marcus mentioned, we did unfortunately lose a little bit of time that first day, that Monday morning, because of a storm that rolled in on Sunday, and it did delay and cancel some people's travel. So for the people who did get their way through all of that, thank you for making the time and effort to travel through what was a challenging couple days there. And I agree with you, Marcus. I mean, the intent was to have more open space, and I think we just kind of ended up, losing some of that when we rescheduled. So I think going forward, I think that's definitely something to, work back into the mix, and maybe even looking at maybe a 2.5 day or 3 day long event. I mean, I could imagine having a similar type of program to what we had this time, and then maybe just booking the space and leaving it completely open-ended, maybe for another half day or another full day, so the maintainers who had traveled all that way can make use of that space and work together. So definitely agree on that side. Um, in terms of the content, thank you to Hendrik and Rye. We do have recordings from most of everything. We're in the process of pulling all that together and reaching out to people to make sure they're okay with us sharing it. But I do think within the next week or two, you'll be able to go and look at the agenda and then look at a link to a video for almost all of that content. So thank you to Hendrik and Rye for that. Um, I guess my other thought is for the maintainers who weren't there. I mean, I do think there is an interest in doing something virtually to pull those people into the discussion. I don't think it would necessarily work well to just have, a half day long or a full day long Zoom meeting where we invite people to it. I mean, I don't think a virtual version of this should look the same way as the in-person one, especially if we have a lot of the content already captured. I don't think we need to rerun anything. Like in my mind, and I'm really curious to get people's thoughts about what a virtual maintainer focus event could look like. In my mind, it should not duplicate what we already just did, but build on it and maybe do it in ways that are more easy to digest for people virtually. Like maybe we take threads that came up and do them as discrete virtual events that we invite all the maintainers to. So, for example, we could take a good first issue as one of those discrete tasks and say, hey, look, a really good idea came up at the maintainer days. Let's get together and talk about how do we roll this out to more projects. So maybe if the people who attended could, I mean, maybe that could be a way forward. Like maybe we identify a half a dozen really good ideas that came out of maintainer days, and then we could have virtual discussions that we invite all the maintainers to around each of those. So I don't know. I'm curious to get people's thoughts on what a virtual version could look like and what would be useful to do, because I totally agree. It is hard to bring everybody together for a variety of reasons. People live all around the world. Not everybody can get travel approval. The timing might not work out well. Like I could have come the next week, but not this week. I think it'll be impossible to bring everybody together for any event in the future. But we can do things virtually. But what would it be valuable to do virtually? Again, I don't think we need to rerun things. But what would it be useful to do? And I'd be particularly interested for the people who weren't able to be there, like what would you think would be useful for you if we did something virtually? Matthew?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, so unfortunately I couldn't attend this year. It would have been really great to. I guess if there were presentations that could have been zoomed, I don't know if any were kind of live streamed. Um, that would be useful for people who you not necessarily to run a separate event, but um to live stream stuff from the event. I don't know if any were live streamed from this year's event, were they?
Not live stream, but we did capture it. I mean, we didn't, the venue wasn't really set up to necessarily do live streaming, but in the future we could look for a venue that is more capable of doing a live stream. We recorded things and like I was saying, we'll post those, within the next week or two. But I mean, if live streaming is an important piece of something going forward, we could certainly make that something we, as a requirement.
I guess yeah. I think it can be useful if people can't attend, to be able to feel like they can participate at least at that level. But I do appreciate it. It does add a level of requirement to the technology and the venue, being able to provide that.
And my thought was not everything necessarily was, I mean, the goal of Maintainer Days wasn't to have a series of presentations, so not everything was really live streamable in that sense. Like we had a
Yeah,
breakout session and people went to different rooms, like during that 20 or 30 minutes, like there'd be nothing, to see on the live
yeah.
stream because people had all left the common area and were like talking in smaller groups. When they came back and shared their input, I think that could have been useful for a virtual attendee. But yeah, not everything in my mind, not everything necessarily translates in the way we did it to somebody virtually being able to participate. But again, maybe we could rethink the schedule.
Yeah, I totally agree that it doesn't translate one to one with offering it for remote audiences. So yeah, and you don't want to shape the in-person event around making it convenient for people who aren't there because it totally changes the in-person kind of dynamic. So yeah,
For
I
sure.
guess just for consideration, I guess if bits of maintainer days can be streamed on a schedule people can jump in to listen to. That is worth some consideration, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Enrique?
Yeah, I guess. Sorry, I couldn't make it as well. Sorry about that. I really was looking forward to it. I guess what I struggle with a little bit is the excuse of being there. Kind of like you kind of have 2 days to concentrate and learn new things without your daily activities in the way, right? It's kind of like you have an excuse to be there, to talk, to learn, to be immersed into new projects and new technologies and talk to other people. So I find like that part is hard to replicate virtually, because everyone
Yeah.
has very busy agendas and people jump from calls to calls or context focus, right? So I think yeah, making sure the incentive is there for people to go for sure is plus one there. I think maybe one thing that I value a lot is um obviously presentations, you can see them a lot. I think you guys do a great effort on like webinars and all sorts of presentations across the world. I think it's more the ad hoc, not formal chats.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if this has happened in other communities, but like open coffee thing that people can just jump in and out. Like there's no requirement for you to be there. If people want to have a conversation about some sort of project, some sort of technology, I don't know if this is project by project basis or it's the whole FTT, but something that is more like I can jump in, ask a few questions, discuss things, collaboration space over becoming just a question and answer or like a presentation type of form. I don't know, just throwing something out there. Because I found the conversation in person around like a whiteboard or coffee were the most useful for me.
Yeah, agreed. And if you see good examples of other communities doing something like that, let us know and we can try something. But I agree that there's kind of the formal part of the event and then the informal part of the event, and the informal part of the event is usually, or often very valuable, right?
Yep. Yeah, just a thought there.
Well, if there is any other comments or questions or suggestions, certainly let us know. But a next step on our end is to pull the content together, and we'll share that at the TAC meeting, the next TAC meeting when it's available. But happy to hear other feedback.
Thanks, David. We'll look forward to the summary that you put up, and we'll reshare it in the next meeting. I know we are like a couple of minutes left in the meeting, but previously we promised Kanchan that we'll give her space to introduce ourselves to the rest of the TAC. I wanted to make that happen during our goal discussion, but I'll let her speak for now while we wrap up the session, and we'll wrap up the session after that.
Okay, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Kanchan. I lead the protocols team at Consensus, which is Hyperledger Besu project is part of that, and also there's a consensus layer client for Ethereum, Teku, as part of that team. Really excited to be part of TAC. I've been watching this space for a while because Besu has been LFDT project for a very long time now. I think close to I don't know, close to 10 years. Yeah, here to learn from all of you amazing people. So taking these first few sessions as learning exercise, and happy to contribute to this space in whichever way possible. Is that good, Arun? Any questions?
Thank you, Kanchan. Yeah, that's definitely good. We are here to we are here to learn from you as well, and look forward to your ideas and how we can improve the ways we are working.
Great.
Yeah. And
Thank
welcome
you.
again. So let's wrap this session for today. For the next event, I will quick heads up. I'll go ahead and put up all the notes that I've taken over the last 2 weeks while we were discussing on the goals setting in a GitHub discussion page, and I would like everyone's participation on that. And in this meeting, we will bring those discussion items as a summary and finalize for what we are going to do this year. Hope that works for everyone. Thank you everyone for today.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.